Welcome to the App Showcase, where we review Microsoft-related apps primarily from the App Store, but also through trial versions. SV MacPack is a certified veteran-owned and hub-zone consulting firm supporting primarily the U.S. federal government. In support of our customers' need to do market research on apps such as these, we started recording our review of these apps. We hope these reviews help you as well. In this video, we're going to be reviewing the image slider for Office 365 from VirtoSoftware that's on the Microsoft App Store. As always, I'll move fast, pointing out what I like and what would make me hesitate to recommend this app to my customers. My goal is to be as candid as I would be if just talking to my own team about this app. Hopefully the review helps you and perhaps even provides good feedback to the publisher of this app. Let's go ahead and get started on their home page on the App Store. So this is the main page, and we're here. And as we go through, I'm just going to review first off down the left-hand column. 45 reviews, that's pretty impressive, or 45 ratings. That's a really impressive number. And the number of reviews, though, is only 8. So that seems a little odd. And so we're looking at the reviews. There's no reviews recently. It looks like all the reviews came when they probably put the app out there. As I come down, concerns for me, and maybe this will be updated somewhere else. Let me just look really quick. No. So it says free. Nothing's ever free. Rarely. I mean, sometimes you get a developer who just throws it out there for the fun. But if it's a company, generally they throw it out as an evaluation copy. So we'll find that out in a minute. Coming down, your next thing to look at is the number of versions. And it looks like they've done 3 updates on here. But the last time it was updated was 2014. That's 3 years ago solidly. That's a lifetime in computers. So I'm curious on what we're about to experience here. But then again, it's only a slider, so once it's good, maybe it is good enough. The last thing I want to look for on the left-hand column is the support. So let's go ahead and click on that and see what happens. It opened it up way down here. Here it's got a video that's just overview of it. So it talks about getting it for free, 5 stars, organized slideshow. This is just marketing stuff. It's talking about the features, and that's fine, but there's nothing in here for support, and that's what I'm looking for. So I don't see any support. And again, I don't see any, all these reviews were right when they kind of dropped it. So, but they keep saying get it free. So maybe it actually is a free tool. I can imagine that it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to close that page and get back to here. So the next thing I look for is in the review, do they talk about the features? I'm always looking for that, because if they have a listing of features, first off, it just means to me that they actually know what their tool does, and they probably pulled these features from their requirement and design documents, which maybe talks about the maturity of the code and the solution behind the app that we see. So here there's some interesting ones that they talk about. You can read them yourself. I'm not going to read them all out to you. I'm just looking for ones that kind of pop out. Here's a nice one. So it's got the installation part. So go ahead and add the link. Add the data source, go to the page we want to put the slider on. I already prepared that for the home page of my demo site. Add the app part, should just come in. Alrighty, so let's see what we can do here. Last thing I look for is over here on the right-hand side, they have pictures. There's a video here. I've watched it. It's nothing spectacular. It's kind of like just a setup. The next one I'm looking at is just a picture of the sky. I don't know if I'm missing something here. Nope, I didn't miss anything. It's just a picture of the sky, so it's not really showing me a feature. The next one's the same thing. I guess what they're trying to show here is the slider functionality. We'll see that. Oh, I see. So they're showing maybe different ways you can set up the slider. And then let me go. Oh, there was some text here. Well, nope, that text is not helpful for the features. And then here it's just showing how things can be set up. This is pretty neat. We'll come back to that in a minute, but I like that, where you can establish the size. Okay, so I'm going to install this app, and one of the things I'm doing from this point forward is I'm going to install the app with you all watching, which is going to be a fun and exciting process. And the way I do it is I come up here and I grab this number, which represents the app. It's in the address bar. You can click things like get it now and all that, but I've found that just causes me more headaches. So here, I already have a site set up that I'm going to do all the sliders in. I already have a link here that takes me straight to the add app from the store, so I'm going to click on that. This is just a quick way of me getting past a couple of clicks that I would have had to do. I'm going to paste the app in there and see if we can find it. All right, we're moving forward. So there it is. We're going to see about getting it. It's funny, it just took me here. So it takes you here, gives you the page, you hit add it. Let's hope this thing works. Confirm you want to add it. We're on track, I do. We're getting the app, so that's all going through. Add this app to the showcase, and that's fine for me. And then it talks about return to the site. Do I trust it? I do from a lab environment, that's for sure. Trusting somewhere else is something different. Okay, so it's adding it in. You see down here that we're in all site content, and in there you see that it's loading. It'll look cleaner in a minute. So just reminding you, this is the slide I started on. This is their page. I'm actually going to close that and go back to this page. And so here we're going to follow the directions that they're giving us. I'm just going to zoom out. You're not missing anything at the moment. I'll zoom in when there's something relevant. I've learned my lesson on earlier videos. So just give it a second. This is the part I wanted to do with you watching, is just to see what's the process for loading it up, how long it takes, etc. And by the way, one of the things I've learned too, when you're on Microsoft 365, sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. There's, I'm reaching here a little bit, but there's timer jobs that activate when things should happen or when things get done. And just imagine it's a bus route. For those of you who are experienced, you know exactly what I'm talking about and probably articulate it better. But for just regular users out there, imagine a bus route and you just got to wait for the bus to come around. And that's basically what happens in Office 365 is when you ask it to do something, you just wait for it to get done. I don't necessarily attribute the time it's taken to get it done to the publisher's delay or something. I can't really know that. There you go. Okay, so it loaded up. The next thing we do is we click on it. So we've got this loaded here. We're going to add a data source. One of the things I look for in apps are how intuitive are they. So I'm going to click on this right now. It's pretty clear, actually. So let's start looking at this. The source name's interesting. It doesn't have... I'm going to choose a... it's funny, it's got different libraries, but I think I have an asset library. Let's see if it allows me to... let's try this. Slider... I think it's called Slider Pictures. Slide Assets. This doesn't quite make sense to me on what it's doing here, so I'm going to keep going through. Captions, no captions. I don't need captions at the moment. You can have URLs. I'll come back to that. I'm not interested in any of those. Here's, I'm assuming, setting the size of it. I told you about that. It would be nice, by the way, in this kind of app, if they just put in a little I or a question mark that I could click on or hover above, and it would give me guidance. For example, can I make the image size unlimited? What's the best practice in the industry? I'm not a graphical person, so I don't know. When you think about pixels, I don't know. Is that a quarter of the screen? Is that, how big is that? So it'd be great to have little pieces of information that just are pop-outs, little tool tips. Just a suggestion as we move forward. So slide transition, how long each slide's going forward. Even right here, I don't know if I'm missing something, but it doesn't say how long that is. Is it seconds, minutes, hours, days, years? So I'm just going to put 5 and see what happens. Maybe I'll put 15 just in case it's seconds. This is interesting. That's how fast it'll transition. I wonder if these are like something different than seconds even. I have no real idea on the settings that go into this. I'm going to ignore slices because I don't know what that is. Theme, you can come back and look at that. Okay, so this is if you want to move things up and down. I think that's great. It gives you a lot of options. Each of you want to manage it on the page yourself. That's great. Okay, so this is good too. You see how it's showing the navigation, little circles or the next and previous buttons. And here it's starting on a random slide compared to starting it always in the same place. Let's go ahead and hit save for a second and see what happens. So source name. Okay, so that's the name of this particular guy. Let's go ahead and go to the app showcase and see if we can add this guy as an app like it was saying. So, oops, sorry, wrong one. Let me back up here. I'm going to edit the page and put the app part on. So we'll put it in this side over here. I'm going to say insert. And again, I'm moving fast because I'm not training. It's more just showing you what's here. So Slider Pictures was the name that I had. Here's what they have. Let's go ahead and add that guy. Okay, so it's given us guidance. Go ahead and set this up. And I believe, it's intuitive for a person who's like a site admin. I don't expect the average user to be doing this, because if anybody's going to edit a page, they should have some basic training. But let's go ahead and see what we have here. So this is all straightforward. So down below, let me zoom this out. The top part's all normal web part. But right here, it's talking about a source name. And again, that's interesting. It doesn't have, it doesn't look like it has a lookup. I must be missing something. Working on it. Let's go ahead and say okay to that and see what happens. I'm not quite sure if it went and created a document library. So now I'm feeling bad that I closed the guidance that they had. We'll come back to this guy in a second. Let me go back to my slide and go here. I got them all from a previous one, so let me go ahead and open that. I'm going to bring this guy all the way up here. So they had directions right here. Let's see if I followed them correctly. So add in site content, click on the title, add a new data source. Click link, add a new data source. Set the source name and other settings, press save. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. Select the Virto image slider. We did that. We added it, opened the app part, edit mode, slider category. We enter in the source name from here. But when did it ever connect to the, maybe I'm missing something. So it's Slider Pictures is what I was trying to do. I'm going to come in here one more time. So I'm opening up the app. These are data sources. I don't see any other editing. So far, it's kind of going down in marks for me for intuitiveness. Slider Pictures right here. And that's what I named it. Maybe we'll call it documents or something. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if I just missed something really obvious. I did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was totally my fault. It's saying select the library, and I just wasn't paying attention. I thought those were library types or something. So now it should work. Let me hit save. That part's good to go. I'm going to go ahead and close that one for a second. This guy here, he's struggling, and it's my fault. let me come back and edit him, and maybe we can get him working properly. So I'm going to edit the web part here. Coming down to slider image, and just to do this one more time, it's called Slider Pictures. That's the name of the source. Slider Pictures. Well, that part's correct. Hey, there we go. Okay, clearly I'm going too fast, but that's okay. Let me save this for 1 second. Okay, we're off to the races with a slider. Now, one of my concerns is it's just moving too fast, right? Oh, that's pretty good, by the way, if you don't notice that it pauses if you go over it, and I can go back if I want to see. So it's clearly going super fast. Let me see if I can edit that now that I'm aware of how fast that is going. So that is how long each slide shows. It's 30. Let's say 300 now and see what it is. I'm guessing a lot of you are already figuring out it's probably like milliseconds or something. Let me see. Does it automatically? Looks like it's slowed down a little bit, right? Okay, let's try the 3000. Let's see if it becomes real obvious. Save. Come back. I refreshed just in case I was stuck. There you go. So now I'm looking at this thing and I begin to wonder on some edits that I want to do. So let me go ahead and do some basic edits to show you what this might look like. I'm going to edit the web part first, and I'm going to come here to Chrome and say none. Say OK. That'll get rid of the title is my goal. Let's see if that was correct. Okay, that was good. And then I'm not quite sure why it's not going to the right, but that's not today's demo. Let me come here, and I don't like those buttons on the bottom. So let's go down here and say this guy. I'm okay with the arrows, the next and previous arrows. So let's see what we got. Here we go. Okay, got rid of the pages. I noticed right away the pictures don't look good without a box, so let me modify the web part. And I'm not tracking actually how long we've been doing this, but it can't be longer than 15 minutes for us to just have downloaded. Maybe it was 20 minutes or something, but we just downloaded. Let me do border. We just downloaded and deployed an image library. A slide viewer that's flipping through and showing. Now, clearly, some of the images are off because of I just threw regular pictures in there. You can see I have my set of commanders in here. Let me go back. I want to edit this a little bit so it goes a little faster. I'm going to drop it to 300. And then the effect, I don't want it to be random. I just want it to flip. How do I do that? Fade, fold. I just slice left. I don't know, up and left, that's fine. There was something else I was trying to do. Okay, so the size of the image, let's see if we can change this to 900 by 600, see what happens. Not really looking for anything else in here, and that's okay. Say save. Come back to our guy here. Refresh it. Hey, there you go. So that's pretty cool. Clearly you want to begin to create standards on what's there, but now you see on the image is filling up more of the space. That's pretty awesome. So here's your slider. 300 is obviously really fast. So, maybe more like 600 or something's better, but you also have the ability to just tell them no to the speed, and people can click through. This is, I think this is a pretty good tool from them as they move forward. So let me go ahead and go back to these guys. Where was I? There, and I don't think this is them. Oh, it is. It is. So image slider for Office 365 by Virto. I think as a recap, I'm recommending that you download this app for more thorough evaluation within your own organization. I hope you found this review helpful as you evaluate various apps available to you and your organization. Please provide me with feedback in the comments. Let me know how I can make the App Showcase channel and these reviews more useful to you. Feel free to even suggest apps we should review, and we'll work to get them on the schedule. Finally, if you found this review helpful, please share a note about it on one of the social media platforms or just give it a thumbs up. I'm your host, Neil McDonald with SV MacPack. I thank you for joining me today and hope you'll join me again for other reviews.